Hello. So I'm sitting outside with my sister's dog. We're sunbathing a little bit. And I just had a strike of inspiration, I guess you could say. So there are a few different repeating themes, energetics, messages, and of course, the dog that I'm sitting with would not move. And then the second I start recording, not the second, it's been 43 seconds, 44 seconds, now she wants to move. So I'm taking that as part of the energy because it actually is very in line with some of the energy coming in. And now there's do you hear this? A plane overhead, these really loud cars. This is the second time I'm seeing the number 43. Which always clicks me in to the hierogamic template, which has been coming through very strongly the last few months. I also just realized that I paused and it was my birthday number, which continues to come up. So yeah, there's something about the energy of being reborn is kind of what I'm getting. I'm also seeing a rat. So a few things that were really coming through strongly. Last night, as I was falling asleep, I was flashed an image of a starfish, but in particular, well, I'm not actually even sure. It was a character from SpongeBob. I think it's named Patrick. I don't really watch SpongeBob, so I don't know. But it was so clear, and I was like, this is interesting. But I was falling asleep, so when I woke up, I was like, why was I seeing Patrick from SpongeBob? My nose is itching. And a reading popped up on my feed, and I felt guided to click on it. Especially because the image on the thumbnail was of the auroras, and I was bringing through the auroras so much yesterday. Well, really recently in general, but especially yesterday. And at one point I was listening to the reading. It was 11:11 on the clock, and then I kept seeing 11:11 within a few minutes in different ways. So you may be seeing that. And this reader brought through specifically Patrick from SpongeBob, and I was like, okay. And the energy she was getting was something being stuck, in the hangman, and then I kept seeing the number 1212, so you could be seeing that as well. A very passive energy, feeling like things are stuck and too passive. Well, from the perspective of the energy, it's time to take action on something. And it's funny because my initial reaction was anger. I felt this wave of anger and frustration. And I wasn't feeling that way at all. And I was like, where is this coming from? So I sat with it a little bit. Excuse me. I've also been seeing the number, and it's 1221 right now. So many numbers, and I've been seeing 404, which always reminds me of an error code. I'm walking up these San Franciscan hills. So yeah. I'm also getting whales. Some of you could be tapping into multiversal concepts. It said that whales come from a different universe. So some of you may be tapping into that, but okay. So once I sat with this a little bit more, especially with that hieroglyphic template coming through so strongly in the beginning of the transmission, this like quote stuck energy. Of course, any of the initials through Patrick could be relevant, or the name, but it does feel like there's someone that maybe is connected to you, because I've been getting a lot of like momentum energy and forward movement, and there's been so much coming through the sciatica and the hips, so you may be feeling called to like process somatic movements through the body, especially around the hips. I actually just did it myself, and it felt really, really great. So there could be something around that. But, you know, they say the hips store like guilt, shame, and fear, essentially. So again, it feels like a very deep collective energy that's like moving through. So even if you don't feel like personally attached to it, or if you feel like you've already cleared a lot of this, you could be sort of like holding into collective energy, and or someone that you feel connected to coming through that Patrick energy, that SpongeBob starfish feeling stuck. There could be someone that you are deeply connected to that is sort of like energy transference. Now for some of you, it could be your internal masculine aspect, and or both. So yeah, that was coming through really strongly. The color orange has also been coming through in the craziest ways. Different shades of orange. Maybe feeling called to eat orange foods like cantaloupes, sweet potatoes, melons, mangoes. I heard mangosteen for someone. I'm also seeing marigold flowers. I also heard the name Margolis. Yeah, energetically, I've definitely been feeling a buildup, like in the hips, lower belly, like sacral area. So, I just felt like a big wave, like crashing through. So yeah, it feels like there's like excess debris that is being transmuted currently. Also, I'm being shown shoes. And for some reason, the Spanish word zapatos is coming up, shoes. Some of you maybe just walk by a window that says treat yourself. Some of you may be feeling like you want some new shoes. Maybe even wearing the same shoes for a long time. That won't be for everyone, but yeah, maybe you're being encouraged to treat yourself to some new shoes. Also, I noticed like the shoes I've been wearing for a really long time, I wash them sometimes. And yesterday they clearly needed a wash, and I did. I got a chance to wash them, and they seriously feel so much better. So, but symbolically, I was dreaming about shoes a lot, translating that on the channel a little while back, like a few months ago. And I was being shown like a stream of those shoes of dreams, and metaphysically dreams, symbolizing shoes can represent like direction in life. So I was talking about like feeling unstuck. So again, whether that's you or someone you're connected to or both, it does feel like there's this opportunity coming in for release for that. And another thing that came through this other person's reading, who was it? I think she calls herself Angel Aura something. And she was speaking about like holding on to something and then finally releasing it and having a result. So whatever you're letting go of, there will be this space created. And I've been talking about this for a while as well. And personally, with my physical body, I've definitely been going through like a holding on to weight that I feel like my body just does not need anymore. And it's been a process. And there's many layers to it. And I'm finally starting to feel like things are moving. And of course, simultaneously. I was trying to say simultaneously. The word tainy came out. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but that could be for like one person, perhaps. Simultaneously, like accepting myself for who I am. So there's some sort of like duality there, I suppose, as well. I've had this, I know I'm going to say it incorrectly because when I learned the word, it was by reading it, and then I just heard it pronounced correctly yesterday for the first time, so I'm still saying it like phonetically, but it's like a cyst on the eye. I kept saying Kazalion, but it's like Kazalion or something like that, which makes me think of a chameleon for some reason. Chameleons are coming through. I feel like I'm having a really hard time speaking the last couple days. Anyway, I've had this for like months now, and when I initially looked it up, it said like, oh, it will go away on its own, most likely. Just do like warm compress and massage. Anyway, mine is still here, and it's been like months. So last night I was like, I really need to like sit, because like things have just been going so fast with like other things in life that I just, anyway, so I really sat down, and I realized in the last transmission I was talking about the name Allen, Allen spelling. So last night I was like, okay, I started to feel like anxiety a little bit around this thing on my eye. And it's funny because I wasn't feeling any anxiety, and it's a long story, but the point is there may be something like this where it's like time to tackle something, you know. Anyway, so I just sat, cleared my mind for a second, and I just decided, I don't know, I like saw the phrase in my head to Google, and I looked it up and I saw this person online making videos, and I was guided to read the comments, and I got so much amazing information from the video and the comments. Anyway, I didn't realize until today when I went to go back to the video to remember something, that the person who was making the video's last name was Allen, Allen. So this has happened a few times recently where I went to go like invest into something or look something up, and there would be like a name. It was happening with the name Sarah too. So you could be being shown like specific like names, places, locations ahead of time, because like when something comes up, it's like it clicks you into knowing that you're in alignment with whatever it is that is either going to assist you or align you with something, etc. Whew, I felt like that was a mouthful. Excuse me. Yeah, so with this like collective frustration and like wave of anger, it didn't last very long, but like it came on very strongly. And this thing on my eye is on the right side, so it feels very deeply connected to like the masculine energy in general. What's coming through, and I just keep seeing like waves of debris, and then like this transmutation process of that. So it's like things are coming up and then getting washed away, and then coming up and getting washed away. 12:33. Okay. Also, sneezing. I heard sneezing on the truth, and then like allergy attacks could be coming up. Clearing in like the head, the sinuses. Something very subtle that caught my attention earlier, and I was so hesitant to even talk about it it was so subtle, and I could have easily missed it, but I felt it so strongly, and I'm doing my best to honor when I feel something like that, because time and time again, I always do get some sort of like layers and layers of external confirmation, and I'm kind of being shown right now that like the layers and layers of external confirmation, for some of you who are also going through this, it may start to, I don't want to say cease, but like, it's funny because when I started this recording, my sister lives on a corner where I was, and there's buses that go by all the time, And this was the first time I ever saw this in the month I've been here. It was a bus. It was a training bus. So there was no one actually on the bus, except the driver and maybe someone who was training. And yeah, so it was like this energy of like something that's been assisting you in training to trust your intuitive knowing, maybe starting to fall away. And I think I got this message or something similar to it the other day, actually. Anyway, so I walked by, actually, with my sister this morning, a house that looked kind of orangey because I kept being shown the color orange in the weirdest ways. And my sister was like, I swear that house was a different color. And I was like, really? And my sister's like, not that she's not observant, but like she's always so busy. It's not like she's just walking around the neighborhood like speaking of these things. Like it was kind of out of character for her. That's what really caught my attention. A bird just like flew so close to my head when I said that. Anyway. And I was like, oh, maybe they just like painted it or something. And she's like, no, it's like so dirty. Like they didn't just paint it. And I was like, oh, because I wasn't really staring at it. And then she was like, oh, so weird. And just like kept walking. And as soon as that conversation was happening, I was flashed like, they say, when you switch timelines or whatever wording, phraseology you'd like to input, there's sometimes like subtle differences in your reality that like you swore, like maybe your coffee pot changes the color, or you swore someone had a specific shirt in green, but like all of a sudden it's blue, things like this. And I just was shown like a timeline switch, and I was reminded of a dream just now that I had about training for switching timelines and assisting others to switch timelines. It was like a collective training. I've had actually quite a few of them, but there's one in particular that I'm being shown. And there was something about like trap doors. So like there was a show my sister was watching and my brother-in-law, The Residence, and there was something like in the White House where there was these like doors that looked like walls, just like a simple wall, but they were these like trap doors, or like hidden doors. And in my dream, that's what was happening when I'm now putting it all together. It was like often I'll have these dreams of like just a wall being a wall. And I was talking about this recently too, so this is definitely coming up again. So yeah, it feels like yesterday or the day before I posted something about like collapsing timelines. So yeah, there's this switch, and I don't know if you heard that horn. So some of you may feel like you are having another external reflection of some sort of quantum shift that's going on. You may be like also having like visions of doors, dreams of doors, trap doors, watching shows with something like this. Like there could be signs of synchronicities around that. Oh, another orchid. Also, orchids have been coming up a lot lately. And I just looked, it's funny because yesterday I was like, is this a collective energy or not? And then as I'm recording, I just was guided to look up and in someone's window. I don't even know how I got to see in, because it's like, I've walked down the street so many times I've never noticed, but they had like multiple orchids in their window. So orchids, I'm really being drawn to orchids. Like, you just give them, I think it's like a specific amount of ice cubes, like once or twice a week, let's say. They're very delicate and they require like a very specific amount of water, not too much, not too little. I don't know why I'm being drawn to that, but there's something about that that's being highlighted. Also, the spirit, I'm just like making up a bunch of words. Spirit. I heard the name Astrid. I was trying to say spiritual, but spirit. Spiritually, the orchid symbolizes love, beauty, strength, and refinement, representing the courage to be unique and the pursuit of truth. And yesterday, or the day before, I was recording about the eclectic. There's an eclectic energy around a dream I had, so there could be a connection there. They can also signify fertility, good luck, and inner peace, with specific meanings changing based on color and culture. For example, white orchids are linked to purity and spiritual growth, while red orchids can represent romance and desire. And the orchids that I feel like I've been seeing are white and sometimes pink. So white, red, and pink can be symbolic right now. Hummingbirds have been coming through very strongly lately, and the other day especially I was seeing them like two of them playing together and like singing, like making their noises, which I don't even know if I've heard that much before. There's also something about the name Jackson. I kept hearing the name Jackson as well, or the word Jackson. And after I kept hearing that name, I went into a bakery and they were playing the song "I'm Sorry, Miss Jackson" from Outkast. So yeah, that was coming through. The energy of that song, yeah, like there's definitely been a theme of like compassion, forgiveness, and the energy of Kuan Yin, the color purple. Okay, something else that came through so strongly, and I touched on this in the Patreon overflow for the eclectic transmission that I recorded, and I had a feeling it was going to come up again in the YouTube portion. The phrase "be prepared" kept coming through in a few different ways yesterday, pretty synchronistically. And I've also been seeing EYE, like you may be seeing like eyes in the sky, in the clouds. Energetically, you may be feeling like eyes are watching you. You may be having dreams about eyes, or just seeing a lot of eye symbolism. There's a lot of archetypes also who are working through that energy. I mean, there's the Eye of Horus. I'm seeing Thoth. The Eye of Ra. I just heard him head "Aye, matey." I'm not sure why I heard that, but I'm being shown Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know if that I've ever like fully watched that movie, but for some reason that's coming through. Yeah, so the preparation, be prepared. There was something about being seen in some way. I paused for a moment because I just was walking down a busy street, and within like 30 seconds of just talking about the orchids, or a minute, I looked into a different window on the storefront, and there were literally 2 orchids, one white and one pink. So yeah, there's definitely something strong energy coming through that. As well as like seeing and feeling things before they happen that may be ramping up as well. And I just saw license plate now 666 as I say that. So in connection to 666 or repeating sixes, there could be a strengthening of your inner sight that's showing up more quickly. I'm getting this repeated message also about like lapsing. So like, it's funny, I said the word spirit earlier. It's like spirit communication, if you want to call it that, or different realms that are the communication is coming in like more clearly, faster. And I realized today is Samhain or Halloween, however you identify, which, you know, it's said like the veil is thinner around this time. But it does feel like this is not leaving. So you may be getting an activation around this time, or whenever you're finding it, but it's like that may be for the general, you know, population with the veil, but it's like within you, that is what is shifting. So, and not just you, I say the proverbial you, those of us who feel tuned in. And I keep getting this like image of like call them like the plasma gel rings that I talk about. This like image that I'm constantly being shown. It's not really an image, it's a living grid network. And the plasma gel rings sort of like represent this, each individual. I'm also being shown like the aurora plasma orbs that have been coming through so strongly. And the lighting up, like each time each one of us like lights that up within ourselves. And there's this like, you know, the internal neural network shifts. And then we start to like literally network. I'm being shown a transmission I did. It was like L-pin, A-pin network. Something of that nature, a transmission that's coming through. Also, my sister just changed her plans like last second and asked me to come with her somewhere. So that could be happening for some of you. Like plans could be like redirecting, changing. There's been a lot of energy around like routines shifting. 666, like the sixth house energy. Someone started randomly playing music. You may hear that in the background. I've never heard that this whole month I've been here. Right? So again, yeah, these like little different things popping in. I literally just got a notification. I'm flying out of San Francisco tonight, actually, and my gate has changed. Like, this is like the 5th time my gate has changed in a very short amount of time. And I literally just got the notification that my gate changed again, speaking of gates, and it was the number 12. So F12, that could be significant for someone, like the initial F, 1, 2, number 3. But yeah, there's that confirmation. Change. Now I'm seeing the initials BB, 2 B's. The birds and the bees have been coming through very strongly as well. I just realized that. I'm also seeing butts. Why? It's just showing like a butt. Yeah, I've been like releasing mucus. Sorry if that's gross, but some of you may be experiencing that, or you will soon. Like I was talking about like allergies, purging out like the sinuses. I'm also seeing like jade rolling, gua sha, face massage, things like this, neck massage, chest. There's something about like massaging the upper body especially. I also had a dream recently. I was just reminded that my hair was like a high, what's it called? Made it very blonde a few months ago, and it's growing out now. And I was like, I don't know if I want to like keep it this way. Like, what do I want to do? And then I had a dream that I kept it blonde, and I was like super happy in the dream. Anyway, so some of you could be making some decisions with your hair or changes to your hair. Conditioning was coming through really strongly in the last transmission, and I'm getting it again. I'm also now seeing these like beautiful, the sun is like beaming off of a car, and I'm seeing like the subtle heliotalic spectrum, the pastel rainbow frequency coming through. Also, the man who was just singing that I was referencing just really reminded me of Johnny Cash. So Johnny Cash could be relevant, or the names. Sometimes the things I hear, I just don't want to say them, but I just heard in my head, cash money. So that could be relevant for someone. There's a song also that just has been playing in my head for a while. And I couldn't quite place it, and then all of a sudden the name popped in my head. Adam Lambert, which I think he was like an American Idol person. I'm not really sure on that. Whoa. I'm walking by a tree with like this, it's like a citrus fruit of some sort. I've never seen it. It's so big. I heard that the fruit in my head, a pomelo, but I'm not sure what it is. Some of them are green, some of them are like yellow. I want to say it's the size of like, okay, first of all, I'm being guided to read the energy of this citrus tree. So like I said, one's green, one's like a yellowy, and then there's like a really small one that's yellow. So the one that's so big, yeah, there's something about like different seeds that you've planted energetically. Maybe some of you literally are blooming at different times in different sizes, different shapes, like very interesting. And just got a sour taste in my mouth. So some of them, like gardening, bear fruit. Some of them do, but maybe it just never quite turns the way you want it to. So there's something about like taking inventory as you continue to have these seeds bloom to see like what's sweet, what's not sweet. If it's sour, maybe there's still something you can do with it, or maybe you have to let it go. There's something about that. And as soon as I was saying this, my right ear like pinged so hard, like it almost felt like there was like an electric shock coming out of my right ear. Like it was so intense. Okay, the song. I was talking about being seen, not like American Idol's coming through. It's some sort of something there, but the song is called What Do You Want From Me? So, yeah, there may be something in the lyrics for some of you. Particularly the chorus. Just don't give up. I'm working it out. Please don't give in. I won't let you down. It messed me up. Need a second to breathe. Just keep coming around. Hey, what do you want from me? Just don't give up. Yeah, so something about I'm not going to keep going in that. If the messages or the song itself speaks to you in some way, then you'll know it. And my head, when I said that, my head just started to hurt so intensely. So headaches have been coming through a lot lately. Yeah, lots of pressure shifting. Some of you may literally be like I just talked about like flying tonight. Like maybe you just booked a trip, maybe you took a trip. I am seeing I heard alpine, then I heard the cheese alpine lace. I haven't thought about alpine lace. I used to work in a Jewish deli and we served alpine lace like 20 years ago. I don't know, a really long time ago. Not sure why that's coming through. And then also I'm being shown and Swiss. Yeah, I think alpine lace is a type of Swiss cheese. But Switzerland, there's something about Swiss Alps. I'm also seeing mountains, like altitude changes. I'm hungry. Okay. Very interesting. Oh, speaking of Jewish, some of you could have just watched, or maybe you want to watch that show on Netflix, Nobody Wants This. I don't know why. In the show, one of the people names her daughter Afternoon, and someone just said Afternoon, and I was talking about like Jewish bakeries. I don't know. Something, maybe someone just watched that show. There's something about it. Yeah, the stream of like releasing and forgiveness, reconciliation, sort of familial. Someone could be a junior. I'm just walking by a car and it says juniors. I think that's also a candy too, isn't it? This is like really weird and specific, but I'm seeing, yeah, junior mints. I don't know. Someone like, if you're like taking kids trick-or-treating or something, someone may like have junior mints and you might be like, what? I haven't seen those. Like there's something about like if you see junior mints, there's like something to pay attention to. This is crazy, but I'm being reminded of when I was younger. Some of you may remember there was like, I don't know if I'm even can say this word on YouTube, Athrax, I'll say it that way, a scare around Halloween. I don't know why that's coming through. Maybe someone was just talking about that, or maybe you're having memories about that. Okay. There was a phrase that I had highlighted in the last Patreon overflow, and the connection to the Aqua Mother arc that has been so strong, and what I call like the Sophia Pearlescent daughter codes that have been coming through so strongly, especially working through the auroras in the Andromeda Galaxy. So some of you may be connecting with some of this and receiving. Also the blue flame, however you connect with that, has also been so strong. And so in a spiritual context, a blue flame symbolizes divine revelation. I feel like I've been hearing that word a lot lately. Divine love, truth, wisdom, and transformation. And the word love kept coming through the transmission the other day, and now I'm walking by a cab that says 333, 333, 33, 7 threes. So you could be seeing 333 in connection to this like blue flame mother arc. I'm seeing aquamarine. This might sound a little funny, but my sister's cat, Freya, she's so beautiful. She's like gray and plush. And today she just like came up so close to my face and was like staring at me and like staring into my eyes. You know, cats like just stare into your soul like that. My friend always uses that phrase, staring into my soul. It reminds me of her. So the initial A could be relevant, AD, AJD. But this is what was happening. And I swear I looked into her eyes, Freya, and they looked like it was almost like I was flashed like Mintunken seawater. And there was like some gold and just that like sea green, like sea glass, I don't know. And I just was like transported for a moment. So you could be having some of these experiences or just some of this energy coming through. Okay, also the blue flame can represent the hottest and most intense part of a fire, which in a spiritual sense correlates to a complete and pure form of divine energy or a powerful spiritual awakening. It's often linked to divine communication, higher consciousness, and in connection to the divine realm. Also, I was just reminded that I hadn't had heartburn in a really long time. Maybe that's dramatic. It's been a while, and I've been feeling it coming back the last day or two. And one of the emotional connections that I found in researching heartburn is like fear, or like pushing down fear. And I was talking about earlier, like for me personally, like releasing, I keep saying the word lace, alpine lace, doilies, I'm seeing doilies now, but yeah, something about releasing fear and having remnants come up. So some of you may be having like flare-ups of heartburn or indigestion, something of that nature. I'm actually hearing like it's just a passerby. It's just like releasing. Of course, like tap in with yourself if you need to make any like adjustments with your when you eat, what time you eat, your diet, you know, something like that. Maybe your body needs more of something now or less of something while this energy passes. I know I'm definitely going through an inventory in that way as well. Yeah, there's a lot about like tinky inventory. Some of you may already be doing this, and this is just like a confirmation, of course. But I was really drawn to the part where I was just reading, it can represent the hottest and most intense part of a fire. What is that movie about elementals? It was like a kid's movie, and I don't know why I'm being shown that movie. I can't remember the name. If anyone remembers, please let me know. It was actually like so cute. I would totally watch that again. But there seems to be messages coming through that movie for some of you. Some phrases that have also been coming through that may be like light encoded for some of you. The blue flame Melchizedeks and the keepers of the blue flame, mother blue flame codes, the Orifeme, Azurite, threefold founder flame. And there's sort of like subwaves is what I'm kind of seeing within. It's like the spectrum of the color blue, right? And the blue rainbow arc is also coming through. And there's just like these different waves of the spectrum of blue. So there's a very like nuanced, unique connection that each person and their aura will have with this connection to the blue flame. I really wanted to tap into the, one moment. Yeah, I'm probably going to tap more into this, into the overflow on Patreon. Some of these, like blue flame, I'm being shown the title Mother Melchizedek's. So that's coming through like the Mother Arc, Mother Melchizedek's. The female lineage of Melchizedek's is coming through really strongly. Yeah, there's something, again, about the daughter codes. So something popped up on my feed yesterday, and I've been noticing, myself included, and some clients coming through, like, either not having stable income, stable jobs, leaving their jobs, being unemployed. There's been a lot of shakeup in, like, the 10th house in astrology, like the realm of career being seen, sometimes also the home, right? The physical body, I was already addressing that. The 4th house can talk about the home, the physical vessel being the home. You know, just like roots, foundations being pretty appearingly unstable, at least to the masses. And so something popped up on my feed yesterday after having a one-on-one client session with someone also going through this energy. I don't remember what she calls herself. If her name pops in my head, I will certainly share it. I believe she's German. Yeah, Germany's been coming up a lot lately. Austria, Germany, Swiss, Norway, something going on there. I'm also being shown the Hadron Collider. Again, something with, I had deja vu really strongly. I think it was yesterday, so deja vu. But lights, lots about flickering lights, electricity. So in this channel, the person relayed was about, you know, a group of beings connected through, like essentially being unemployed or something along, you know, instability in that realm. And how, you know, a lot of times when we're like shifting within and trying to manifest that outward, there's like these changes that can sometimes look very, you know, shaky. That's not exactly the way she was saying it, but it just reminded me that that has been a theme that has been coming through really strongly. So yeah, you may feel like you are either in this scenario yourself and or thinking about it, or just like very unhappy, like you can't seem to just be happy with your career in some way. Maybe some of you have already taken some steps and you're building in that direction, or you're looking to expand in that direction. You know, everyone will be somewhere different. Feel free to like share anything that, you know, if you do feel like you've made it through the other side of that, or maybe you're like going through another expansion within that, like, you know, the community, we can all like learn from each other, you know. No pressure, of course, just only if you feel called. Yeah, I know, like I said, I'm going through that as well, so I can very much relate. But back to the beginning of this, where there was something about choices and options. Yeah, I think I'm going to close on that because that feels like a nice full circle moment of experiences that are starting to show up. There was a song that kept playing in my head before I came to San Francisco, and then when I got here, my sister put it on, and I was like, I can't believe you just played the song. Dream a Little Dream of Me. I don't know who sings it, but that song's coming through really strongly. Also, Wishing Upon a Star. I think it's like a Disney thing. Yeah, okay. Thank you.